So I'm Benjamin Law, and I'm the author of the book The Family Law and one of the co-writers of the television show of The Family Law, and today I am on set at my family house, which is kind of my family house and not quite my family house. It's an amazing house that's been designed by the art department that I've rented out and done what they will with it.
When we walked into the house, it was an empty shell, so every small piece of dressing and every detail has been sourced specifically for the Laws. This wallpaper we had flown from Germany. This was all white before. We had to find the perfect shade and motif in the wallpaper to try and get that sense of Brisbane and Australiana, and also have something with a slightly Asian feel to it.
The house is not large. There's a lot of stuff in there, and we put an entire film crew and a 7-person family in there as well. Not a lot of room to move. We all became very good friends. But I think the results have been fantastic. It just looks, you know, I walked in there on the first day shooting and just went, well, this is someone's house.
I spent a lot of time in the Law house just by myself on the weekends. Just spent a few hours, living here and, making my lunch and trying to figure out what would actually be here. So I did everything from collecting my own mail to cooking things and just trying to get that lived-in feel so we wouldn't pull attention to anything that looked fake. So this is where everything important happens in this room and the kitchen. Danny has set up his bed just here. It's leather because we wanted to get that sense of the heat, and he sticks to it, and that was one thing that we had to consider throughout the whole show, is getting that sense of the Queensland heat and sweatiness. So there are fans everywhere and textures that have that feeling of grittiness and sweatiness, and we wanted to have that come through.
I think Ben describes it in the book as a lasagna of shit that kind of coats the house.
This is the Law's common family room. It's overflowing with piles and piles of washing. For the story, we wanted to have that sense that Jenny was constantly just washing for this entire family of 7.
5 kids, 2 adults, and of course different phases of life as well. It's one of those houses where it's almost like suburban archaeology. You could dig and find carbon dated, different period, other artifacts from another time.
This is Ben and Andrew's room. So what we've done in this room is try and get some demarcation between their different personalities. Andrew's a bit OCD and a little bit more serious than Ben. Ben's just creative clutter, and so yeah, we've just tried to get as much distinction as we can. We've had to build this flat in here to try and get a sense of claustrophobia. The house was a bit too big, so we wanted to get that sense of them sort of living on top of each other. We have this hallway that's leading to 2 rooms, which, well, in story terms doesn't make sense. So we have to block that every time they shoot in this direction.
This is a house of lies!
With Candy, we wanted to give her a sense that she was in a transitional phase. So there's still some childlike things in here that she's grown up with, but wanted to give her a bit more edge. So trying to bring in, some of the makeup and some of the darker colours. So we're in Jenny's room, and for Jenny, I wanted to give the sense that it was completely and utterly Jenny's room, and there's very little of Danny's character in it. Sort of he's being sort of edged out. So we've got a little bit of Danny in this corner here, but the rest of it is very much sort of a feminine touch and very much her.
Now, the funny thing about these photos is I'm actually recognising there's a whole melange of stuff going on here. Now, these are photos of the cast, but those are actually photos of my family, like my real family. So that's like good for train spotting. And this is like my mum right there, like real life mum, one of 7 kids. So there's sort of this weird conversation between reality and fiction going on right here, which I like.
It just feels like the place is talking to you, And that informed the visual decisions a little bit as well. We ended up shooting things a little bit wider because I just thought this house looked so amazing, and what Roz did was so fantastic. Seeing the house tells us so much. It tells us as much as what people are saying some of the time. So that was a big part in shaping the visual approach to what was going on.